Hello boys and girls, and welcome to our story time. Before we begin, we're going to sing some songs and do our breathing exercise. So let's start with our listening body song. Eyes are watching, ears are listening, voices quiet, bodies calm. This is how we listen, this is how we listen at group time, at group time. When you hear the bell ring, it's time for story time. When you hear the bell ring, it's time for story time. Okay, boys and girls, I hope you're feeling calm. We're going to do our breathing exercise now, and in honor of the letter A, today we're going to do an airplane breath. And to do that, you're going to breathe in through your nose like this, and then you're going to make an airplane with your hands, and you'll breathe out. So let's try it once. You can watch me, and then you can try it. That felt really good. Now this time, if you want to try something a little bit tricky, you can make your fingers come out like this, and then it's like the wings on an airplane. So let's try that again. I feel so much better, and I feel calm, and I'm ready to read a story to you, and hopefully you're ready to hear a story. Today we're going to read a book called Wemberly Worried. Wemberly is the name of the main character, and she is worried. Now, do you know what worried means? It means you're thinking a lot about something and the bad things that could happen. So we're going to learn about that today. Wemberly Worried, and the author is Kevin Henkes. He is the author and illustrator. So he wrote the words and he drew the pictures. Wemberly Worried by Kevin Henkes. Wemberly worried about everything. Big things. Here she's shining a flashlight on her parents, and she says, "I wanted to make sure you were still here." Little things. Oops, she spilled some juice. And things in between. She says, "Mama, what if I shrink?" Boys and girls, do you know what shrink means? It means, what if she gets smaller in the bathtub? Wemberly worried in the morning, she worried at night, and she worried throughout the day. "You worry too much," said her mother. "When you worry, I worry," said her father. "Worry, worry, worry," said her grandmother. "Too much worry." And her grandmother's over here. She's got a t-shirt on that says, "Go with the flow." Her grandmother is so easygoing. She doesn't worry about anything. At home, Wemberly worried about the tree in the front yard. Look at this tree. It is so big and tall. She says, "What if it falls on our house?" And she worries about the crack in the living room wall. What if it gets bigger and something comes out of it? And she worries about the noise the radiators make. She says, "What if there's a snake inside?" And this radiator, if you live in Bellevue, you might live in an old house. They're just metal pipes that heat comes out of. At the playground, Wemberly worried about the chains on the swings and the bolts on the slide and the bars on the jungle gym. She says about it, "Too rusty, too loose, too high." Now look, she's just sitting on the bench with her dad, and she's so worried, she's not even having fun like all these boys and girls. And always she worried about her doll, Petal. She says, shouldn't Petal have a car seat too? Down here, she says, I'll wait for you, Petal. And then here, she's so sad. Petal is lost forever. And her mom says, I found her, sweetie. Don't worry, said her mother. Don't worry, said her father. But Wemberly worried. She worried and worried and worried. And when Wemberly was especially worried, that means she's thinking about it a lot. She rubbed Petal's ears. Wemberly worried that if she didn't stop worrying, Petal would have no ears left at all. On her birthday, Wemberly worried that no one would come to her party. Now look at this. Does that look like no one came to her party? Let's count. Let's see how many people came to her party. We're going to start all the way over here because you can see there's a person there. Here we go. Count with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 people came to her party. Wow. See, said her mother, there was nothing to worry about. But then Wemberly worried there wouldn't be enough cake. On Halloween, Wemberly worried that there would be too many butterflies in the neighborhood parade. See, said her father, there was nothing to worry about. See that? No butterflies. But then Wemberly worried because she was the only one. You worry too much, said her mother. When you worry, I worry, said her father. Worry, 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 said her grandmother. Too much worry. Here's Grandma. Look, she's got a smiley face on her shirt, and she's pointing to a poster that says, take it as it comes. Soon, Wemberly had a new worry, school. Wemberly worried about the start of school more than anything she had ever worried about before. And here her dad's trying to comfort her and make her feel better. He says, I loved school. By the time the first day arrived, Wemberly had a long list of worries. What if no one else has spots? What if no one else wears stripes? What if no one else brings a doll? What if the teacher is mean? What if the room smells bad? What if they make fun of my name? And that just means, what if they tease her about her name? What if I can't find the bathroom? What if I hate the snack? What if I have to cry? And what do you think about that, boys and girls? What if she had to cry? Would that be okay? Do you think you're going to get in trouble if you cry at school? Absolutely not. That's what your teachers are for. They can help you. Don't worry, said her mother. Don't worry, said her father. But Wemberly worried. She worried and worried and worried. She worried all the way there. Grandma says, have fun. I want you to look closely. Wemberly's worried, but look at her parents and their faces. Kind of looks like they're a little bit worried about Wemberly, because that's what parents do. They worry about their children. They want them to be happy. While Wemberly's parents talked to the teacher, Mrs. Peachum, Wemberly looked around the room. Then Mrs. Peachum said, Wemberly, there is someone I think you should meet. Her name was Jewel, and she was standing by herself. She was wearing stripes, and she was holding a doll. Now, can you find Jewel on this page? There she is. I wonder if that's who you were thinking it was. This is Jewel over here. And I wonder if Jewel is worrying about some of the same things that Wemberly is worrying about. At first, Wemberly and Jewel just peeked at each other. And that's where you kind of look at someone shyly, but then you try not to let them see you looking at them. Wemberly says, "This is Petal." And Jewel says, "This is Niblet." Petal waved and Niblet waved. "Hi," says Petal. "Hi," says Niblet. "I rub her ears," said Wemberly. "Maybe you can try that right now. Maybe you can rub your ears." "I rub her nose," said Jewel. "Now try rubbing your nose." Throughout the morning, Wemberly and Jewel sat side by side and played together whenever they could. Petal and Niblet sat side by side too. See? There they are. There they are building a tall tower. And there they are, Niblet and Petal. And look, over here it says, "Wemberly worried, but no more than usual, and sometimes even less." Before Wemberly knew it, it was time to go home. Look at that smiling face. Both of them having such a good time. "Come back tomorrow," called Mrs. Peachum as the students walked out the door. Wemberly turned and smiled and waved. "I will," she said. "Don't worry." And I want you to look at the last page here. Look at this. Everybody is dancing and smiling. Everybody's happy that Wemberly had a good day at school. And that is the end of Wemberly Worried. Okay, I hope you liked that story. And I wonder, I have some questions for you. I hope you were good listeners. What are some things that Wemberly was worried about? Do you remember? Let's take a look in the book. We'll kind of go back a few pages. Here it says she was worried about big things, like she was afraid her parents were gone. She was worried about spilling her juice. And she was worried about shrinking in the bathtub. Oh my goodness. She was worried about the playground. She was also worried about going to school. There were so many things that Wemberly was worried about. And what about her family? What did they do to try to help her? Remember, Grandma was so go with the flow, and she just said, "Take it easy." And she would say those kinds of things to Wemberly. Her mom and dad gave her so many hugs. And that probably happens at your house too. Those are some of the things that her family did to make her feel better, or to try to make her feel better. Now, Wemberly and Jewel, remember when they met? Did they have a lot in common? They did. They were both kind of shy. They both had dolls. They were both standing alone. So they had lots of things in common. And then, what did finally help Wemberly feel better at school? At first, she didn't even want to go into the school building, but meeting Jewel and making a friend, that's what helped her feel better finally. I hope you really liked this story, boys and girls, and maybe you learned something about the feeling of being worried and that it's okay, and everybody feels that way sometimes. So if you know in your mind like something that you're worried about, you can talk to your family about it, or if you want, you can even send me or Miss Abby a message and tell us something you're worried about. Have a great day. Bye.